Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Trending Worldwide. I am Scott Decaf Adams, and tonight we are going to break from what many of you may consider tradition. As I said in the trailer video, Trending Worldwide is so much more than professional wrestling. It is what makes each one of us, the three hosts, and all of you that view our YouTube videos and are on our Facebook page tick, the things that we're interested in. So tonight, I am going to give you my non-spoiler review of the movie Deadpool, which I did see tonight. First, let me start off by saying that Deadpool, for me, was a 7 out of 10, which for me is pretty good. I am one of the harshest critics that you will ever meet. Let me explain to you my reasoning behind this. I've been kind of disillusioned from Marvel movies for a very long time, and I'll get into that later. Deadpool is a unique character in that he's a lot darker than a lot of Marvel characters. He's not really a hero. He's more of a villain. He's a mercenary. So he needed to be portrayed that way. He was called the Merc with a Mouth. So he needed to be portrayed that way. So as a result of that, you had the Fox Studios and Disney, who owns them, agree to make this an R-rated film, and it really did work. You'll have to excuse me. I'm trying to play music in the background, and there's a commercial. But it really did work, and I'll tell you why. There was a lot of gore in the movie, which is fine. Deadpool, of course, had a mouth. It was a very different setup, a very different story, not as linear in the way the movie was told. Of course, Deadpool always breaks the fourth wall, so they had to incorporate that. Ryan Reynolds was a phenomenal character to play Deadpool. So why did I not give it a higher grade? Why a 7 out of 10, which is essentially a 70% and a C? Let me tell you why. Deadpool could have been a very violent, very aggressive character. And he should have been, and he was supposed to be. And he was violent here, but I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more gore, more graft, because that's who Deadpool was. And this was just kind of a taste. It makes me interested to see what happens in Deadpool 2. A similar thing with his mouth. They kind of introduced you to his use of language. They could have gone a lot farther, but they chose not to. Another reason when I look at it that it makes me go back and decide that it's a 7 out of 10 is it's always been my belief that when you introduce a comic book character into film, you need to establish who they are in that film. You need to make sure that there's enough time to focus on that character, their backstory, their powers, the villain, everything, and that there's no distraction from that. And recently in a lot of Marvel movies, there's been this trend of throwing in other characters to kind of boost it. And these are familiar characters like X-Men or other characters or Avengers that we are all familiar with. And it takes away from the character. If this is going to be a new character that's introduced, then it needs to be that. It needs to be a new character that's introduced. You can't just distract from it. While it was really neat seeing Colossus and the other X-Men whose name I can't remember offhand in this movie should have been about Deadpool to establish him. And I believe that. I believe that if you're going to make comic movies and your goal is to make a franchise out of the character, you need to have enough movies that focus on them. I'm not going to give away anything, but there are rumors that there will be another X-Men if there is a sequel to the Deadpool movie in that movie. I really hope not, though I like that X-Men, and I know a lot of other people are looking forward to seeing that X-Men. I want to see the movie focus strictly on Deadpool. Give us some more. Deadpool is one of the deepest characters that Marvel has. Show us. Show the people who aren't familiar with the character like we are what he's about. You know, I enjoyed another movie, Ant-Man, because though it did have Hawkeye and a mention of the Avengers, it focused on Ant-Man. It established the character. And I've been turned off from so many series because we have way too many characters entered into it, like X-Men or with X-Men when they try and kind of reboot the series by giving you an earlier version of the characters with new actors, I lose interest. I can't tell you how annoyed and angry I am at the concept of Captain America Civil War. I loved the original Captain America. I loved Captain America Winter Soldier, and I wanted to see where that went. This is essentially just an Avengers movie that's thinly veiled under the Captain America name. In 2 hours, there's no way they can further the storyline of Winter Soldier or Captain America because there's like 9 other characters in the movie. I want to see that with another Deadpool movie. Give us more. This was a great taste. This was the appetizer before the meal. Don't make the meal a disappointment. I loved the visual style of Deadpool. I loved the music, that it was darker music. It was heavier music. It wasn't that orchestral, sort of heroic sound that a lot of the comic book movies are having. There was graphic language, graphic visuals, violence, things along those lines, which you're not used to seeing in Marvel movies. There was so much, and I'm really happy about that, and I hope that there's more, because I hope that this brings back what used to be comic book movies, what used to be the uniqueness about them. Comic book movies and comic books have become so mainstream that Comic-Cons have changed. Before, you had a group of people who put a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort into dressing up like their favorite comic book character and showing you what they're about. Now everybody does it. You could have 15 different Deadpools walking around. 14 of them are awful costumes. One of them is pretty good, but the person dressed up as this 300-pound man who has nothing better to do with their life. Comic books were something special. It was a unique group of people, a special thing. It's so mainstream now because of what's happened with Marvel movies, specifically Marvel. There really hasn't been as much movement with DC because they've got Batman, they've got Superman. You've got, the Dark Knight series, which was good, but still doesn't have as much behind it as so much more of the Marvel. You've got, Vertigo, Magna, all those other comic book series that are out there, which just haven't done a lot. So I hope this is the first step in fixing what I consider to be the tarnished reputation of Marvel Comics, a tarnished reputation that Marvel has given to comic book movies. And that's a good thing. This is not a bad review in any chance. And for anybody that's watching this that goes, Adam, you said you wanted to see the movie with me, or Scott Adams, you said you wanted to see the movie with me. I'm still going to see it with you. I am going to Star Wars the heck out of this movie, which means I'm going to see it a pointlessly large amount of times. Even though I didn't love the movie, it was great, but I wouldn't say I loved it. But I'm still going to see it again, and I'd see it again. There are some great jokes, there are some great scenes, and it'll be fresh every time I see the movie. And as you can see, Scott Adams' cat, who is, well, I'll tell you what, I'll let you guys come up with a name for Scott Adams' cat in the background over there, wherever she is. So this has been my review, non-spoiler, of Deadpool. Guys, definitely get out and go see it. I think it's a great film. I think it really is a great start. As you can hear, there's been theme music playing in the background. I hope you guys can hear it. If you like what you see, this is proof. We're not just pro wrestling. I'm going to do more. I hope everybody else will too. Somewhere here, maybe over my cat, over here somewhere, I will post some sort of a subscribe button. So I leave you with a Superman theme song by John Williams, folks. This has been another Trending Worldwide with Scott Decaf Adams, folks. Have a wonderful day. Trending Worldwide. Subscribe, like, comment.